The fake beard was slipping. I stood in front of Patricia Chin, the most exhausted hiring manager I'd ever seen, trying to keep my voice 3 octaves lower than natural while a dollar store pillow shifted awkwardly under my dad's old Santa suit. So, mister? Patricia squinted at the application. Claus. Jordan Claus. My voice cracked. I coughed. Seasonal allergies. Patricia looked at me like she was watching a car crash in slow motion. It's December. Look, I dropped the voice, desperate. I know what the posting said. But I'm 3 months behind on rent. I just got rejected from a dog food commercial, and I found my dad's Santa suit in my closet last night at 2 a.m. while eating cereal and crying. So either you hire me, or I'm going to have to explain to my landlord why I'm paying in IOUs and theater headshots. Patricia stared, then grabbed a badge. You start Monday. Don't make me regret this more than I already do. Wait, before you find out how spectacularly this goes wrong, smash that like button if you've ever lied on a job application. And hit subscribe because this mall Santa is about to meet someone who will make me question every life choice I've ever made. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens in 60 seconds. 3 days later, I discovered 2 things. 1, Santa suits are hot. Like, sweating through velvet, questioning all life choices hot. 2, the store's photographer absolutely, definitely, 100% hated me. Next kid, she barked from behind her camera, not even looking up. I got my first good look at her when a little boy climbed onto my lap. Dark hair pulled back tight, sharp cheekbones, eyes that could cut glass. She wore all black like she was attending a funeral for Christmas spirit. Her name tag read Sloane. I tried the voice. Ho ho ho. What would you like for? Why do you sound like that? The kid interrupted. I have a cold. Why do you smell like girl shampoo? My eye twitched. Santa's evolved. Very progressive. North Pole went woke. Sloane's head snapped up. She looked at me, really looked at me for the first time. Her eyebrow raised slowly, like she was solving a puzzle she didn't ask for. Can we get one usable photo? She said. Or is Santa going to keep having a voice crisis? Maybe if you smiled, the kids wouldn't cry. I shot back, forgetting to do the deep voice. Did Santa's voice just? Voice therapy. I boomed, overcompensating. Very common. North Pole has excellent healthcare. A mother pulled her crying child away. We'll come back when there's a different Santa. Patricia appeared from behind a rack of sweaters, looking like she'd aged 5 years in 5 minutes. Strike 1, Claus. The rest of my first shift was a masterclass in disaster. My beard slipped twice. A teenager asked if Santa was giving drag energy. A little girl asked why Santa's hands were so small. And every time I looked up, Sloane was watching me with this expression that was half confusion, half fascination, and entirely terrifying. By the time I escaped to the bathroom, ripped off the beard, and stared at my glitter-covered reflection, I was ready to quit. Then I checked my bank account. Balance, $47.23.
Rent 2, $1,200.
Okay, Jordan, I told my reflection. You've played Juliet, Lady Macbeth, and a talking tree in that experimental production nobody understood. You can play Santa. How hard can it be? From outside the bathroom, I heard Sloane's voice. Is Santa having an identity crisis in there? There's a line of crying children out here. I closed my eyes. So hard. It can be so hard. The next morning, I walked into the coffee shop next to the department store, looking like an actual human. Ripped jeans, leather jacket, eyeliner that made my eyes look dangerous instead of desperate. I was early for my shift and desperately needed caffeine. Oat milk latte extra shot, I told the barista. Same, said a voice behind me. I turned and forgot how to breathe. It was the photographer.
Sloane.
But different. Her hair was down, wavy and soft instead of pulled back. She wore a vintage Patti Smith t-shirt and looked approachable. Human. Devastating. Oh, she said, not recognizing me. Sorry, didn't mean to copy your order. No, my voice was my actual voice, and I realized with horror that she'd only ever heard my deep Santa voice. "It's fine. Great taste." She smiled. Actually smiled.
Her whole face changed.
"I need all the caffeine I can get. I work at the department store, and our new Santa is..." She paused. "Actually, I shouldn't gossip about Santa." My heart hammered. "No, please. Gossip about Santa." He's... Sloane caught herself, and I watched her cheeks flush slightly. "He's just weird. Like trying too hard? But also there's something almost, I don't know, earnest about it?" God, I sound insane. "You don't," I said and meant it. "What do you do there?" "Photographer. Holiday portraits. It's soul-crushing work, but it pays for my actual photography." Her eyes lit up, and I felt something in my chest twist. "I'm working on this series about the death of authentic human connection in commercial spaces." "That sounds incredible." "You really think so?" She looked at me like I'd said something revolutionary. Most people's eyes glaze over when I talk about my work. I checked my phone. 15 minutes before I had to transform into Santa. 15 minutes to be myself. "Tell me more," I said. "Okay, pause. If you're already obsessed with this disaster in the making, drop a comment telling me how long before Sloane figures it out. And subscribe, because what happens when these two identities collide is chaotic. The next reveal is going to blow your mind." We talked for 12 perfect minutes. I learned that Sloane got her MFA before she dropped out. The program was teaching us how to be commercial, not artists, that she had a cat named Ansel Adams, and that she did this thing where she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was passionate about something. I was completely, utterly screwed. "I should go," she said reluctantly. "My shift starts soon." But this was nice. Really nice. "Same time tomorrow?" I asked, too eager.
"Yeah."
She smiled, then paused at the door. "I didn't get your name." "Jordan."
"I'm Sloane."
"See you tomorrow, Jordan." I watched her leave, then checked the time. 3 minutes to get into my Santa suit. "Oh no," I whispered. "Oh no, oh no, oh no." I sprinted to the department store bathroom, yanking the Santa suit from my backpack. I'd left the pillow belly at home by accident. I grabbed paper towels, stuffed them under the suit, and emerged looking like Santa had a lumpy growth disorder. When I waddled out to my station, Sloane was already there, setting up her camera. She glanced at me, did a double take. "Did Santa gain weight overnight?" "Holiday cookies," I boomed in my deep voice. "Very aggressive elves." "Right." She looked at me like I was a science experiment gone wrong. "Try to keep the voice consistent today, okay? Yesterday, you sounded like you were going through puberty in reverse." A kid climbed onto my lap. I was so distracted thinking about coffee shop Sloane versus work Sloane that I forgot to stay in character. "So, what do you want for Christmas?" I asked in my normal voice. The kid looked confused. "You sound different." "I'm a different Santa," I boomed. "We rotate. Union rules." Sloane lowered her camera. "There are multiple Santas?" "It's a whole system. Very complex."
Ho ho ho.
After the photo, Sloane walked over. She was close enough that I could smell her perfume, something citrusy and clean. "You're really strange, you know that?" "Thanks," I said in the deep voice. I didn't say it was a bad thing. She tilted her head, studying me. "There's something almost authentic about how bad you are at this." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from my roommate Marco. "Babe, did you seriously take a job as Santa?"
"I'm dying."
"Pics, or it didn't happen." I quickly silenced my phone, but not before Sloane saw the screen. "Your phone case," she said slowly. "It's jasmine flowers." I looked down. My phone case, the same one I'd had at the coffee shop, was clearly visible through my coat pocket. "Santa likes flowers?" I tried. "That's a really specific pattern." "Elves made it. They're very crafty." Sloane looked at me for a long moment, then shook her head. "I need more coffee." As she walked away, I realized with dawning horror, I was going to have to keep this up for the entire holiday season. 6 weeks of lying to the most observant person I'd ever met. 6 weeks of being two different people to the same girl. What could possibly go wrong? Apparently everything. By week 2, I'd established a routine that would make a spy proud and a therapist concerned. 6:45 a.m., meet Sloane at coffee shop. Be charming. Be myself. Try not to stare at the way she wraps both hands around her cup when she's thinking. 7:15 a.m., sprint to bathroom. Stuff pillows. Apply beard. Become Santa. 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Pretend to be a jolly old man while the girl I'm falling for photographs me and occasionally says things like, "Santa, your beard is on sideways again." The coffee shop meetings were becoming the best part of my day. Sloane started saving me a seat. We talk about everything. Her photography, my theater background, carefully edited to remove any recent unemployment details, our shared love of horror movies and hate of pumpkin spice. "I have a confession," she said one morning, week 3. "I think I'm starting to like Santa." I choked on my latte. What? I know. But I've been photographing the kids with him, and there's something real there. He makes them genuinely laugh. Most small Santas just go through the motions, but this one actually cares. She tucked her hair behind her ear. "I'm using some of the photos for my series. They might be the best work I've ever done." I stared at my coffee, trying not to have a complete emotional breakdown. That's great. "The weird thing is," she continued, "sometimes when I look at Santa, I get this strange feeling like I know him." "Isn't that crazy?" "Completely insane," I said, my voice slightly strangled. "Must be the Christmas magic. Must be." She looked at me, and something shifted in her expression. "Jordan, Sloane." Patricia's voice carried from the store. "We have a situation." Sloane groaned. "I have to go. Save my seat tomorrow." "Always." I watched her leave, then dropped my head onto the table. The barista, a girl named Yuki, who'd been watching this train wreck unfold for 3 weeks, came over. "You're going to have to tell her eventually," Yuki said. "I know. She's going to murder you." "I know. Can I film it? It would make great content." "Not helping, Yuki. If you're screaming at your screen right now, hit that like button. And comment your biggest secret you've ever kept. Let's see if anyone can top this disaster. Subscribe because you need to see how much worse this gets." The situation Patricia mentioned turned out to be that a kid had thrown up on the previous day's Santa, not me. I had Mondays off. They needed me to cover an extra shift that evening for a special holiday event, which meant I'd be at the store during the evening. When Sloane had invited Coffee Shop me to come see her photograph the store's Christmas lights spectacular, I'd said yes. Obviously. Because I'm an idiot. Now I was stuck. If I didn't show up, Coffee Shop Jordan would look like a flaky jerk. If I did show up, Santa Jordan would be mysteriously absent during a major event. I decided to commit to the most logical solution: complete and utter chaos. The plan was simple. I'd do the first hour as Santa, fake a bathroom emergency, change in the store bathroom to my regular clothes, arrive to see Sloane's photos, then change back to Santa for the finale. What could go wrong? At 6 p.m., I was in full Santa mode, taking photos with an endless line of children while Sloane circled with her camera. She dressed up for the event, a black dress with combat boots, her hair in waves. She looked like she was attending a funeral for capitalism and somehow made it look hot. "Santa, you're distracted," she called out. "Just thinking about toys," I boomed. "You're staring at me. Santa sees all." A little girl on my lap looked up. "Santa, are you okay? You're sweating a lot." "It's the suit. Very warm. Climate change is real, kids." At 6:45, I made my move. I stood up abruptly. "Santa needs a break. Cookies, emergency. Be right back." I sprinted to the bathroom, ripped off the suit, changed into my jeans and leather jacket, and stuffed the Santa costume into my backpack. I emerged, trying to look casual, and walked toward the photography display. Sloane's face lit up when she saw me. "Jordan, you made it." "Wouldn't miss it," I said, slightly breathless. "Come see. I printed some of my favorites." She grabbed my hand, and I tried not to have a heart attack from the contact. She led me to a display board with her photos. They were incredible. Kids laughing genuinely, parents smiling. And in the center, one shot that made my breath catch. Santa looking directly at the camera, eyes crinkled in a real smile behind the beard. The caption read, "Unknown subject, the only real thing I found." "This one," Sloane said softly. "I don't know why, but this one feels important. There's something in the eyes. Something familiar." I was staring at a photo of myself, holding hands with the girl I was lying to, having an existential crisis in the middle of a department store. "It's beautiful," I managed. "Attention shoppers." Patricia's voice boomed over the intercom. "Santa will return in 5 minutes for our grand finale event." I felt the blood drain from my face. I gestured vaguely toward the exit. "Wait." Sloane grabbed my arm. "Stay for the finale? We can get dinner after?" "I would love that, but I have a thing." "A thing?" "A very important thing. Theater thing. Urgent thing." Sloane's expression shuddered.
Right.
"Of course. The thing." "Sloane, I swear I'm not." "Santa, where are you?" Patricia's voice was getting desperate. "I have to go," I said miserably.
I'm sorry.
I literally ran away from her, back to the bathroom, while Sloane stood there looking like I'd just confirmed every bad thought she'd ever had about getting close to people. In the bathroom, I fought with the Santa suit, my hands shaking. The beard wouldn't stick. The pillow was lumpy. I looked like Santa's unemployed cousin. When I emerged, Sloane was back at her camera. She didn't look at me. "Sorry for the delay, kids," I boomed. Santa had to take a call from Mrs. Claus. A kid in line squinted. "Santa, why is your beard weird?" "New beard." The old one had.
'Cause.
Every parent in line looked horrified. "Magical ice," I added desperately. "Only affects beards. Not contagious." This was going great. For the finale, I was supposed to sit on a big throne while kids came up one by one for photos. The store had gone all out. Fake snow, twinkling lights, the works. It should have been magical. Instead, I sat there in my lumpy suit, watching Sloane photograph me with the same dead-eyed expression she'd had on day one, knowing that coffee shop Jordan had just broken her trust. A little boy climbed up. "Santa, why do you look sad?" "I'm not sad." "Yes, you are. Your eyes are sad."
Kids.
"Why are they so perceptive?" "Santa just made a mistake," I said quietly, "and hurt someone who didn't deserve it." "You should say sorry," the kid said wisely. "My mom says sorry fixes things. Sometimes sorry isn't enough." Sloane snapped the photo. For a second, our eyes met across the camera. Then she looked away. Drop a comment if you've ever ghosted someone accidentally and felt terrible about it. And make sure you're subscribed, because the next part is where everything falls apart even more spectacularly. The next morning, I showed up at the coffee shop at our usual time. Sloane wasn't there. I waited for 20 minutes. She didn't come. I texted her, or tried to. Then I realized with horror that coffee shop Jordan didn't have Sloane's number. Why would she? We just happened to meet at coffee every morning. I never felt more stupid in my life. At work, Sloane was professional and distant. She took photos. I played Santa. We didn't speak except when necessary. Santa left, she'd say.
Either respond, being in seat.
This went on for 3 days. 3 days of Sloane not coming to coffee. 3 days of her treating me like I was just another temporary holiday employee. 3 days of me realizing I'd completely screwed up the best thing that had happened to me all year. On the 4th day, my friend Marco showed up at the store during my lunch break. "Okay, I have to see this," he said, phone out. Jordan Lee, lesbian theater disaster, playing a male Santa. "This is art." Marco, not now. "Oh my God, you even have the beard. Wait, is that pillow stuffing sticking out?"
Marco.
"Jordan," he yelled across the store. "Let me get a selfie with Santa Jordan." Everything happened in slow motion. Sloane, who was 20 feet away adjusting her camera, froze. Her head turned slowly, very slowly, toward us. Marco, oblivious, kept going. Come on, babe, one photo. I need to document this for the group chat. Jordan Lee's Mall Santa era is trending. Sloane walked over. Her face was completely blank. Jordan, she said quietly. Marco finally sensed danger.
Oh.
Oh no. Jordan, who's this? I can explain, I said, my voice, my real voice, coming out instead of Santa's. Your voice, Sloane said. That's your real voice. Yes. And your name is Jordan. Yes. Coffee shop Jordan. Yes. Marco looked between us. I'm getting the sense I've made a huge mistake. You think? I snapped. Sloane's eyes were wide. You're the same person.
Coffee Jordan and Santa Jordan.
The same person. I was going to tell you. When? Her voice cracked. When exactly were you planning to mention that you've been lying to me for a month? It's not like that. Then what is it like, Jordan? Because from where I'm standing, you let me tell you, tell Santa about the cute coffee shop girl I was falling for while being the coffee shop girl. You let me photograph you, use you in my series, trust you. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Which part? The lying or the me falling for you? Both yous? One you. She laughed, but it sounded broken. God, I'm so stupid. You're not stupid.
I'm stupid.
I'm the stupidest person alive. Finally, something we agree on. She turned to leave. Sloane, wait. I need to think, she said without looking back. And you need to figure out who you actually are. Because I have no idea, and clearly neither do you. I watched her walk away, still half in my Santa costume, in the middle of a department store, while Marco patted my shoulder awkwardly. So, he said, that's the photographer?
Yeah.
She seems nice. Marco, I swear to God. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I spent the next week in a fog. I showed up for my Santa shifts because I needed the money, but my heart wasn't in it. The kids could tell. One little girl told me I was the saddest Santa she'd ever seen. Another kid asked if Mrs. Claus had left me. Something like that. I mumbled. Sloane stopped coming to her shifts. Patricia told me she'd requested to work different hours, specifically hours when I wasn't there. I'd ruined everything. The worst part? I'd been so close to something real. Two versions of something real, actually, which made it even more pathetic. Sloane had liked Coffee Shop Jordan. She'd started to appreciate Santa Jordan. And I destroyed both possibilities by being too much of a coward to just be honest. On December 20th, Patricia called me into her office. Claus, she said, looking even more exhausted than usual. We have a problem. I know. Sloane requested different hours. I'm sorry, I'll. Not that. Well, also that. But mainly this. She turned her computer screen around. It was a social media post. The photo Marco had tried to take had somehow made it online. Someone had captured the moment Sloane realized the truth. The caption read, Mall Santa drama is wild this year. Apparently, this Santa is actually a woman who's been catfishing the store photographer. I need the full story. It had 50,000 likes. We're trending, Patricia said flatly. Oh God. People are calling you the lesbian Santa. There are memes. Someone made a TikTok with over 1 million views. I am so fired. Surprisingly, no. Corporate loves it. They think it's progressive. They want you to do a press interview. You're joking. I wish I was. They want you to do it tomorrow. Christmas Eve. During our biggest event of the season. She rubbed her temples. And they want Sloane to photograph it. My heart stopped. Sloane will never agree to that. She already did. Apparently, her professor from her old MFA program saw the photos she posted, the ones of you, and wants to feature her in a gallery show. She needs high-resolution shots for the exhibition. So she's coming back. Tomorrow. 5 p.m. I felt like I was going to throw up. Patricia, I can't. You can and you will. Because if you don't, I'm out of a job, you're out of a job, and Sloane loses her gallery opportunity. So you're going to put on that ridiculous suit, sit on that throne, and face the consequences of your absolutely insane life choices. She wasn't wrong. Okay, I need you to smash that subscribe button right now because what happens on Christmas Eve is unhinged. Will Sloane forgive her? Will the interview expose everything? Will Jordan finally get her life together? Comment your predictions below. Christmas Eve arrived like a judgment day wrapped in tinsel. I showed up 2 hours early, sitting in the bathroom stall in my Santa suit, having what I can only describe as a full existential crisis. My phone buzzed. A text from Marco. "You've got this, babe.
Just be honest.
What's the worst that could happen?" Me. She could hate me forever. Marco. Okay, but besides that. Not helpful. At 4:45, I emerged from the bathroom. The store was packed. Apparently, Lesbian Santa was a draw. There were news cameras. Actual news cameras. Patricia looked like she was reconsidering every life choice that had led to this moment. And there, setting up her equipment, was Sloane. She wore all black, her hair pulled back, her expression unreadable. When she saw me, something flickered across her face. Hurt, anger, something else I couldn't identify. "Sloane," I started. "Let's just get through this," she said quietly. "Professional only." Okay. It wasn't okay. Nothing about this was okay. But I nodded. The interview was supposed to start at 5. At 4:55, Patricia pulled me aside. "The reporter wants the real story," she hissed. "About why you took the job, the whole thing. Corporate thinks it'll be great press. You want me to tell the truth? On camera? It's Christmas Eve clause. Time for a Christmas miracle or whatever." She shoved me toward the throne. "Don't screw this up more than you already have." The reporter, a woman named Dana with perfect hair and a smile that screamed, "I've seen everything," sat across from me. Behind her, Sloane adjusted her camera. "So, Jordan," Dana began. "Or should I say Santa? Tell us, why did you take this job?" I looked at the cameras, at the crowd of people with their phones out, at Patricia, who looked like she was praying, at Sloane, who wouldn't meet my eyes. Screw it. "I took this job because I was broke," I said. My real voice, no deepening. "I'm an actress. A terrible one, apparently, and I got rejected from every audition for 6 months straight. I was 3 months behind on rent. I found my dad's old Santa suit and thought, how hard can it be?" Dana leaned in. "And, turns out really hard. I'm probably the worst Santa in history. Kids have cried. Parents have complained. I've had to explain why Santa smells like jasmine shampoo approximately 50 times. Some people in the crowd laughed. But here's the thing," I continued. "Somewhere along the way, I stopped doing it just for the money. These kids, they don't care if Santa's a man or a woman. They just want someone to listen."
To care.
And I realized I actually did care. I cared about making them smile, about giving them that one moment of magic in a world that's pretty harsh sometimes. I finally looked at Sloane. She'd lowered her camera. "And then I met someone," I said. "Someone who saw through all my bad acting and fake deep voice and found something real anyway. Someone who made me want to be better, braver, more honest."
Sloane's eyes were shining.
But instead of being honest, I panicked. I let her think I was two different people because I was scared that the real me, just Jordan, not coffee shop Jordan or Santa Jordan, wouldn't be enough. "And," Dana prompted, sensing the drama. And I was wrong. The lying was what made me not enough. "So, Sloane." I stood up, walked toward her. The crowd went completely silent.
"I'm sorry."
"I'm so incredibly sorry. You deserved honesty from the beginning, and I was too scared to give it to you. I was falling for you while you were falling for two versions of me, and I should have just been brave enough to be one person. The real person." Sloane's hands were shaking slightly. "Jordan, you don't have to forgive me," I continued. "I know I screwed up. Massively. But I need you to know that everything, the coffee shop conversations, the way I tried to make those kids laugh, all of it, that was real. I was real. I just didn't believe it was enough." The silence stretched out. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. Then Sloane started laughing. Not angry laughing. Real, genuine, can't breathe laughing.
"You're insane," she said. I know. You pretended to be a man.
For 6 weeks. Yes. You let me rant to you about yourself. It was very confusing. You gave yourself dating advice through me to you about me. She stopped, trying to work out the logic. Forget it, my brain hurts. I'm sorry, I said again. She walked toward me, stopping just close enough that I could smell her citrus perfume. Those photos I took? The ones of Santa with the kids. Yeah, they're the best work I've ever done. Because you were real. Even in a fake beard and a ridiculous suit, you were real. She poked my padded stomach. Well, mostly real. So, you don't hate me? Oh, I'm furious with you. You're buying me coffee for the next 6 months. Minimum.
Deal.
And you have to tell me every single mortifying detail of how you pulled this off. Every beard malfunction. Every voice crack. All of it. Done. And she stepped closer. You have to kiss me.
Right now.
In front of all these people. While dressed as Santa. Because if I'm going to date the worst small Santa in history, I'm committing to the bit. My brain short-circuited.
Date.
Did I stutter, Claus? I kissed her. Right there, in the middle of a department store, on Christmas Eve, while dressed as Santa, with news cameras rolling and strangers cheering and Patricia looking like she might actually cry with relief. When we pulled apart, Sloane grinned. Also, you still smell like jasmine. That's what tipped me off, by the way. I have a signature scent. It's very gay. It's sophisticated. Jordan, she said, still grinning. You're wearing a Santa suit with visible pillow stuffing and a crooked beard. Nothing about this is sophisticated. Fair point. Dana cleared her throat. This is amazing television. Can we get that kiss again for a better angle? And oh, Sloane and I said in unison. The story went viral, obviously. Lesbian Santa comes out on Christmas Eve, trended for 3 days. Someone made a Hallmark movie parody. My theater friends wouldn't stop texting me memes. But the best part? Sloane's photography exhibition opened in January. The Santa series was the centerpiece. The critics called it a meditation on authenticity in performance and the queering of capitalist nostalgia. Sloane just called it my girlfriend being a disaster, documented. She sold 3 pieces to a major collector. Used the money to quit the mall job and focus on her art full-time. I booked an actual acting job, playing a character in an off-Broadway show about identity and performance. The casting director said my unique perspective on living as multiple versions of yourself made me perfect for the role. And every morning, we still meet at the same coffee shop. Oat milk latte, extra shot, I tell the barista. Same, Sloane says next to me grinning. Yuki, the barista, rolls her eyes. You two are disgustingly cute. It's ruining my cynical aesthetic. You love it, Sloane says. I really don't. But she smiles when she makes our drinks. We take our usual table. Sloane shows me her new photos. I tell her about rehearsal. It's normal. Easy. Real. Hey, Sloane says suddenly. I have a question. Oh. When you were giving yourself dating advice as Santa through me, what did you actually say? I groan. Do we have to revisit this? Absolutely. I need to know.
Fine.
I told you to tell yourself to be yourself. Sloane stares at me, then starts laughing. You were literally dressed as someone else when you said that. I know. The irony was not lost on me. You're such a disaster. Your disaster, though. Yeah, she says, softer now. My disaster. She reaches across the table, takes my hand. No fake beard between us. No lies. No performance. Just us. Hey, Sloane. Yeah. Thank you for seeing me. The real me. Even when I was hiding.
She squeezes my hand.
Thank you for being brave enough to stop hiding. My phone buzzes. A text from Patricia. Claus. Corporate wants to know if you'll come back next Christmas. They're calling it the Lesbian Santa Returns. I show Sloane. She laughs. Are you going to do it? She asks. Only if you're the photographer. Obviously. Someone has to document your continued disasters. It's a date, I say. It's always a date, she replies. And she's right. Every coffee, every conversation, every moment of honesty. It's all a date now. The best kind. So that's how I became a viral sensation, lost my dignity, and found the love of my life, all while wearing a fake beard and lying about my gender to children. If you loved this chaotic disaster, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most ridiculous thing you've ever done for money? And subscribe because I've got more sapphic chaos coming your way. But wait, because this is my life and nothing can ever be simple, there's an epilogue. 3 months after Christmas, Sloane and I were moving into our new apartment together. Yes, we were U-hauling. Yes, we were lesbians who'd known each other for 4 months. Yes, we were living up to every stereotype. No, we didn't care. I was unpacking a box labeled Jordan's Chaos when I found it. The Santa suit. Sloane. I called out. Should I keep this or burn it? She appeared in the doorway, paint-stained and beautiful. Keep it.
Why?
I'm never doing that again. You say that now. She walked over, picked up the beard. But you know what? This ridiculous thing brought us together. And yeah, you lied and panicked and were a complete disaster about it. Thanks for the recap. But you also made kids laugh. You made me see something real in a completely fake situation. And you were brave enough to tell the truth when it mattered. She tossed the beard at me. Plus, the photos from that series got me into the Guggenheim's Emerging Artists program. I caught the beard, held it up. So, what you're saying is I should list professional liar on my resume? I'm saying you should keep the suit. For memories. And also, she grinned wickedly, for role play. Sloane.
What?
I'm just saying, you look cute in velvet. I looked like a lumpy disaster. A cute lumpy disaster. She kissed me. My cute lumpy disaster.
My phone rang.
Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but Sloane nodded. Hello. Is this Jordan Lee, also known as the Lesbian Santa? A professional voice. Oh God, what now? My name is Rebecca Chen. I'm a producer for Netflix. We'd like to option your story for a holiday romantic comedy. I looked at Sloane. She was clearly eavesdropping. You want to make a movie about me lying to everyone and having a public meltdown on Christmas Eve? We prefer to call it a heartwarming story about identity, authenticity, and finding love in unexpected places. But yes, essentially. That's wow. Can I think about it? Of course. Take your time. We're thinking Kristen Stewart for you, and... Kristen Stewart? I nearly dropped the phone. Sloane was making frantic hand gestures that clearly meant say yes. And we're in talks with several actresses for Sloane's role. We really think this could be something special. After I hung up, Sloane tackled me onto the couch. We're getting a movie. About my complete humiliation. About our love story. She was practically vibrating with excitement. Do you know what this means? My photography is going to be in a Netflix movie. They'll have to recreate my exhibition. They want Kristen Stewart to play me. Kristen Stewart. I'm not cool enough to be played by Kristen Stewart. Babe, you pretended to be a man for 6 weeks and got away with it until your friend accidentally outed you. You're exactly cool enough. I looked at the Santa suit on the floor. At Sloane, radiant and excited. At our half-unpacked apartment that already felt like home. How is this my life? I wondered aloud. You lied on a job application and it somehow turned into a rom-com, Sloane said, settling against my shoulder. Honestly, I'm impressed by your chaotic energy. My therapist says I need to work on impulse control. Your therapist hasn't seen your Christmas Eve speech. That was very controlled, very dramatic, very gay. It was pretty gay, wasn't it? The gayest. She kissed my cheek. I'm proud of you, you know, for being honest. Finally. Even though I lied for 6 weeks first, character development takes time. We sat there in comfortable silence, surrounded by boxes and possibilities. Hey, Jordan. Yeah. If they make this movie, you know what that means, right?
What?
You'll be known forever as the Lesbian Santa. I groaned. That's going to be on my tombstone, isn't it? Oh, absolutely. Here lies Jordan Lee, aka Lesbian Santa, beloved girlfriend, terrible liar, made kids laugh, made her girlfriend fall in love twice.
Twice.
I fell for coffee shop Jordan. Then I fell for the real Jordan, after the truth came out. So, technically twice. She intertwined our fingers. Both times were worth it. My heart did that thing where it feels too big for my chest. I love you, I said. I know it's fast and we're you hauling and this is all insane, but I love you. I know, she said, grinning. You told me. While dressed as Santa. On camera. It's literally on the internet forever. Oh God, I didn't I?
Yep.
20 million views and counting. She shifted to look at me. I love you too, by the way. Both yous. All of you. The disaster theater kid, the fake Santa, the girl who buys me coffee. All of it. We kissed, and it felt like coming home. Which is when my phone rang again. If that's Netflix asking if I'll actually wear the Santa suit in the movie. It wasn't Netflix. It was Patricia.
Claus.
Corporate called. Oh no. They want you back for next Christmas. They're offering triple your previous rate. They want to make it a whole thing Lesbian Santa, year 2. They're talking about a documentary crew. Patricia, I can't. There's more. They want to hire Sloane as the official photographer and creative consultant. They're offering her enough that she could probably quit her other freelance work entirely. I looked at Sloane, who was clearly listening. Can I call you back? I asked Patricia. You have 24 hours. They're very enthusiastic. There's already merchandise in development. After I hung up, Sloane and I stared at each other. Merchandise, she said. Apparently.
Of you.
As Santa. Of us, probably. This is a nightmare. Or, she got that look in her eyes. The artist look. The one that meant she was seeing possibilities. What if it's not? What if we do it on our terms this time?
No lying. No hiding.
Just Lesbian Santa. Openly.
Proudly.
Making kids happy and normalizing queer joy during the holidays. You want to turn my disaster into a movement? I want to turn your disaster into art. And money. Mostly art. But also money. She grabbed my hands. Think about it. How many queer kids go to see Santa and have to pretend? Have to hide? What if we created a space where they didn't have to? And just like that, I saw it. What this could be. Not a gimmick or a joke, but something real. Something that mattered. You're right, I said slowly. I usually am. But I have conditions. Name them. 1. You're there with me. Full creative partner. Not just photographer.
Done.
2. We donate part of the proceeds to LGBTQ+ youth organizations. Obviously. 3. Better beard. The old one was a hate crime against my face. She laughed. I'll personally help you find the best beard money can buy. And 4. I pulled her closer. No more lying. About anything. Even if it's scary. Especially if it's scary, she agreed. We called Patricia back. Said yes. Then called Netflix and said yes to that too. Because sometimes disasters turn into opportunities. Sometimes lies lead to truth. Sometimes the worst job you ever took leads to the best thing that ever happened to you. And sometimes, just sometimes, being brave enough to be yourself, even when you're dressed as someone else, is exactly what you needed all along. 1 year later, I stood in the same department store, wearing a custom-made Santa suit, much better quality, Sloane was right, with a professionally fitted beard and no fake pillow belly required. The line wrapped around the store. Not just families with kids, but queer couples, trans kids, teenagers who'd never felt comfortable with traditional Santa, adults who wanted to recapture some magic they'd lost. Sloane was next to me, not behind a camera but beside me, dressed as an elf. She'd insisted on the elf costume, said it was camp and reclaiming holiday capitalism through queer aesthetics. I said she looked cute. She said that was the point. Next, I called out in my regular voice. My actual voice. No performance. A little girl approached, maybe 7 or 8, with 2 moms trailing behind her. Hi, Santa, she said shyly.
Y suerte.
What's your name?
Emma.
Nice to meet you, Emma. What would you like for Christmas? She leaned in, whispered. My friend says Santa isn't real. But I think maybe you're real because you look like my Aunt Rachel who's married to Aunt Sam. I smiled. I think your friend might be thinking of a different Santa. This Santa is very real. And very gay. Emma giggled. Her mom's beamed. Can I tell you a secret? Emma whispered. Of course. I think I might like girls too. Like my mom's. Is that okay? My heart cracked open. Emma, that's more than okay. That's wonderful. And you know what? When you grow up, you're going to find someone who makes you feel like the whole world makes sense. Someone who sees you, really sees you, and loves every part of who you are. I glanced at Sloane, who was definitely tearing up. Like you and the elf? Emma asked. Exactly like me and the elf. Emma hugged me. Her moms thanked us. As they walked away, I heard Emma say, See? I told you Santa was real. And she's in love with an elf. Sloane wiped her eyes. I hate you for making me cry in this costume. You love it. I really do. The day continued. Kids of all kinds. Families of all configurations. People who'd never felt seen during the holidays, finally getting their moment. At the end of the night, after the last family left, Sloane and I sat on the Santa throne together. You know what's funny? She said. What? A year ago, you took this job because you were desperate and broke. Thanks for the reminder. But now you're doing it because you actually care. Because it matters. Because you're making a difference. She leaned her head on my shoulder. You found your purpose while pretending to be someone else. That's very gay of you. Everything I do is gay. True. Patricia walked over, looking almost happy for once. Good work, you two. Corporate is thrilled. We're already booked solid for next year. Next year? I said. You're a franchise now, Claus. The Lesbian Santa. Kids are asking for you by name. We've had requests from other stores to do guest appearances. She smiled, actually smiled. You've created something bigger than yourself. After she left, I looked at Sloane. We created something. We really did. So, same time next year? Same time every year, she said. Until we're old and gray, and I'm photographing you as a senior citizen Santa with a real white beard. That's oddly specific. I'm a planner. She kissed me. Plus, I already started a series called Lesbian Santa through the years. Gotta commit to the long-term artistic vision. You're using our relationship for art. Our relationship is art, babe. I couldn't argue with that. As we left the store, hand in hand, still in costume, a kid passing by pointed and yelled, MOM. It's the Lesbian Santa. Sloane squeezed my hand. You're never living this down. I don't want to, I realized. All of this, it's the most real thing I've ever done. Even though it started with the biggest lie. Maybe especially because it started with a lie. It taught me how to be honest. We walked into the December night, two disasters in love, wrapped in fake snow and real joy. And somewhere in the universe, I like to think my dad was laughing. He always said that Santa's suit would change someone's life. He was right. It changed mine.
The end.
If this story made you laugh, cry, or feel all the feelings, do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe for more queer chaos, and comment telling me, what would your lesbian Santa origin story be? Let's make this the gayest comment section on the internet. And remember, whether you're wearing a fake beard, hiding who you are, or just trying to figure it out, you deserve to be loved for exactly who you are. Even if you're a disaster. Especially if you're a disaster. Happy holidays.
See you next time.